Hello everyone and welcome back to Mach 1 Mindset. Today we're diving into Civil Air Patrol content, Chapter 1 of Learn to Lead, called Character in the Air Force Tradition. Before we get started, please note that there are timestamps in the timelines of this video, so please feel free to jump ahead to whatever topic you need to review more. Also, please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below any questions you have, and without further ado, let's get started. America needs leaders. To remain a strong nation, America needs leaders who stand up for what is right. We need leaders who put the team's needs above their own. Our nation will always face problems, so we need leaders who think creatively, and we need leaders whose skills of persuasion motivate others to follow their lead. Leaders propel America forward. Without leadership, even the most technologically advanced military will stumble, as will every school, business, and squadron, and every church, club, and family. America's continued success depends on today's young people to become the leaders we need them to be. How can a cadet become a leader? This textbook helps cadets answer those questions and more. It follows the tradition of U.S. Air Force and its belief that everyone can develop their leadership potential through careful study and hands-on training. Although everyone can develop leadership skills, leaders remain a rare breed. Having an ability to lead sets you apart. People will look to you to get things done. Your advice will be sought after from people who are faced with tough problems. Your self-confidence will not only help you succeed, it will energize the people around you. No matter what you go on to do as an adult, you will find your cadet leadership experience invaluable. A cadet's study of leadership begins slowly at first. The first step in this journey is learning how to lead yourself. This includes learning how to contribute to a team, how to wear the uniform, how to drill, and how to follow the guidance of the leaders above you. Therefore, the first volume of Cadet Leadership Program is called Personal Leadership. As your experiences grow, you will become ready to take charge of a team and eventually to lead multiple teams and see complex projects through their successful completion. Work hard. Take your leadership training seriously. Listen to your leaders and rise to the challenge represented by the Air Force uniform you wear. A person's leadership ability comes from two sources: their natural talent and their leadership education, training, and experience. If anyone can be a leader, why are leaders so rare? Maybe it's because leadership requires hard work, or because leadership requires an uncommon willingness to put the team's needs ahead of your own. Leadership begins with character. Any study of the art of leadership should begin with its most important element, character. A good leader leads by example. How a leader acts is infinitely more important than how he thinks or what he says. Leaders take their character seriously and are guided by what the Air Force calls the warrior spirit. The warrior spirit is a condition of the heart. The Air Force describes it as tough-mindedness and tireless motivation. A warrior is someone whose character enables them to make sacrifices for the team and achieve their long-term goals. Warriors defend something valuable, their personal honor. Having a warrior spirit means that you make a promise to yourself that you will not lie, cheat, or steal, even if everyone else commits those wrongs. Why does the warrior spirit matter? Like a muscle, the warrior spirit grows stronger as you exercise it. By overcoming small challenges in your daily life, you strengthen your character so that when something unnerving happens to you one day, you'll be ready for it emotionally and spiritually. Some of the benefits of striving for a warrior spirit include a clear conscience, break promises, and soon you'll see yourself as being a liar. Guilt will weigh you down. Having a warrior spirit means your conscience is clear. You'll enjoy freedom from shame and embarrassment, and you'll take pride in your actions. Good reputation. People who display a warrior spirit build good reputations. They earn trust and respect by doing the right thing, and their leaders take note. A good reputation opens doors that are closed to people whose sense of honor is questionable. Environment of trust and respect. If you and the people around you display the warrior spirit, you will be creating an environment of trust and respect. This translates into a life that is less stressful and more rewarding. Friendships will be stronger. You and the people in your circle will be more successful because the warrior spirit is motivating everyone to do their best. Cadets rely upon one another. By striving to exude a warrior spirit, they create an environment of trust and respect. The warrior spirit comes down to doing the right thing. But what is that thing? Which values should we give priority to so that our lives are honorable? Borrowing from the Air Force, Civil Air Patrol has identified 4 core values to guide every cadet and officer. The core values are the 4 basic qualities CAP expects all members to display at all times. Integrity first, volunteer service, excellence all we do, and respect. They are to guide us in how we live and perform CAP missions. Our success in everything we do hinges on how well we embrace the core values. Simply put, the core values are the price of admission to CAP. The core values are independent of, but compatible with the world's greatest religious traditions. All men and women of good should be able to agree that integrity, volunteer service, excellence, and respect are important moral guideposts, regardless of their personal religious beliefs. List every great quality you want to see in a cadet or in a leader. Put the list aside, and when you come back to it, you will think of even more qualities to add. It would be impossible for 100 core values to describe the rich traditions of cadet life. Our 4 core values represent the basics and are easy to remember. They are like road signs giving us basic directions on our journey. To truly embrace the core values, we need to consider what each one means. Integrity first. Integrity is the willingness to do what is right, even when no one is looking. Think of it as a moral compass or inner voice guiding your every decision. A person of integrity is honest and morally courageous. They can be counted on to fulfill their responsibilities, even in difficult circumstances. They don't blame others for their mistakes, and they don't take credit for someone else's work. Integrity is the cornerstone of military service. Volunteer service. This core value teaches us that the needs of the team and of the people we help take priority over our individual wants and desires. To put it even more simply, volunteer service is about selflessness. It is the difference between giving and taking. This core value is especially important because CAP is entrusted with performing life-saving missions. Volunteer service is also evident when experienced cadets mentor and train new cadets. Excellence in all we do. Being a cadet means you value excellence. No matter what challenge is facing you, you will give it your best effort. If you value excellence, you demonstrate teamwork and know that the team accomplishes more than individuals do. Moreover, to display this core value, you must make a commitment to continuous self-improvement. You must study, train, and work to better yourself and fulfill your potential in every aspect of your life. Respect. The core value of respect challenges cadets to defend human dignity. Someone who is respectful treats others as they would like to be treated. They are polite and kind. They assume their friends and even strangers act in good faith, so they give them the benefit of the doubt. Likewise, a respectful person understands that each individual is unique and accepts them for who they are in a spirit of tolerance. Integrity first. James Bond Stockdale. For over 7 years during the Vietnam War, Vice Admiral James Bond Stockdale of the United States Navy was held as a prisoner of war in the infamous Hanano Hilton. The North Vietnamese wanted him to talk, reveal secrets, become a pawn in their propaganda war, and they were willing to torture Stockdale to get their way. Instead, they found the Admiral's integrity stronger than his body. Stockdale explains, "A shoulder broken, a bone in my back broken, a leg broken twice were peanuts compared with destroying the trustworthy, self-respecting, and well-behaved man within me." For his tremendous courage, integrity, and skill in leading his fellow prisoners, Admiral Stockdale was awarded the Medal of Honor. What do you need to do to live the core values? What skills do you need to develop? What concepts must you understand? Self-awareness. To know how well you are living up to the ideals of the core values requires self-awareness, which is the ability to monitor and judge your own actions. Genuine self-awareness requires incredible honesty. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses, but it is not always easy to admit our own shortcomings, not even to ourselves. A self-aware leader understands their personal strengths and weaknesses, and by habit takes stock in their own actions. Moreover, a successful leader will use their self-awareness to their advantage. For example, if you know you are weak in math, you should budget more time to spend on math homework. Likewise, if you are aware that your wilderness skills are excellent, you might want to consider volunteering to teach a class during a squadron meeting. Leaders will meet with you to discuss how you are performing as a cadet. You'll be asked to describe what you are doing well and what leadership skills you're trying to improve upon. Participating in such an exercise will help you strengthen your sense of self-awareness. Self-discipline can be defined as the ability to direct your thoughts, emotions, and actions towards a meaningful purpose. In short, self-discipline is willpower. It is a deep sense of commitment. If you do not control your emotions will control you. Recognizing this, a self-disciplined leader thinks before they act. They choose to resist sudden impulses in order to fulfill their long-term goals. A disciplined leader remains cool and collected even in a heated debate. How can you develop your self-discipline? Cadets learn self-discipline on the drill field and by wearing their uniform to exacting standards. Other ways to increase self-discipline, including strengthening your work habits on a regular basis. Try to do something that is necessary but not fun. Search for a challenge, something that you want to achieve, which might have a bit beyond your grasp, and go for it. Through self-awareness, you monitor your actions. Self-discipline takes the idea a step further by enabling you to change your behavior so that it is aligned with your long-term goals. Self-discipline is especially important for a leader because if you cannot lead yourself and control your actions, how can you be trusted to lead others? Attitude. The state of mind that lies behind your every action is called attitude. Your attitude affects how you see the world. To the person who has a negative attitude, the world is full of problems and nothing ever goes right. Every day begins with a dread. Likewise, no problem is insurmountable to the person who maintains a positive attitude. They control their thoughts and feelings rather than allow negativity to imprison them. Although attitude is something that exists in your mind, it is visible to the people around you. Facial expressions, gesture, posture, and tone of voice reveal your attitude. The care you put into preparing your uniform displays your attitude as well, as do your test scores, class participation, and the overall quality of your work. Attitude by Lou Gehrig. They call him the Iron Horse. His record playing in 2,130 consecutive baseball games stood for more than 50 years. And yet, when Lou Gehrig was just 37 years old, doctors diagnosed him with ALS, a fatal condition affecting his nervous system. Lou knew that he would die soon, and his last days would be spent in agony. What was Lou's attitude? Did he show anger towards his disease? Did he resent his life? Did the Iron Horse seek pity? Did he give up? Lou's answer demonstrated that he still had the heart of a champion. Fans, he told a sold-out Yankee Stadium, "You've been reading about a bad break I got, yet I consider myself to be the luckiest man on the face of the earth." It is especially important for leaders to maintain a positive attitude because all attitudes, good and bad, are contagious. In sports, the concept of a home field advantage illustrates this point. As fans cheer, their enthusiasm inspires their team, whose performance increases as a result. Young leaders, like Cap Cadets, often find that positive attitude opens doors. If your attitude is positive, people know that they can work with you. Disputes may arise, but you will not become surly. For this reason, a person whose attitude is positive will frequently be selected for prestigious jobs and other opportunities over brighter, more experienced candidates whose attitudes are poor. How can you develop a positive attitude? A positive attitude begins with the realization that the attitude is a choice. You can choose to be positive or you can choose to be negative. Second, good attitudes arise from understanding. If you understand the reason for drill or wearing a uniform or any aspect of cadet life, CAP's rules and standards will be more meaningful to you. With understanding comes appreciation, and with appreciation comes a positive attitude. Choose to be positive. Look for the good in every situation. A positive attitude will carry you through life's challenges. Everyone must answer for their own actions, regardless of their rank. Even the president is accountable to the American people. CAP's core values are moral signposts guiding you on your journey. Because of each of us is human, no one is expected to perfectly embody the core values. Still, there are consequences for those who ignore them. Cadets who are dishonest, uncooperative, sloppy, and disrespectful have no place in CAP. Leaders who abuse their authority and special trust placed within them will be held accountable. An oath is a solemn promise. Oaths are usually made in public and involve promises that serve a public good. When you swear an oath, you put your personal honor and reputation on the line. When someone has a serious responsibility to fulfill, we need to hear them acknowledge the importance of their duties. When you testify in court, you swear to tell the truth. When the president assumes office, he or she swears an oath. Members of the military swear an oath when they enlist or are commissioned. Likewise, CAP cadets have an oath of their own. The cadet oath symbolizes how serious cadets are about becoming leaders. Cadets are expected to recite the cadet oath from memory. More importantly, you will need to strengthen the character to live up to its noble tenets. Reciting the cadet oath is one way for even the youngest cadets to show their enthusiasm for being part of something larger than themselves. The cadet oath is, I pledge that I will serve faithfully in the Civil Air Patrol Cadet Program, and that I will attend meetings regularly, participate actively in unit activities, obey my officers, wear my uniform properly, and advance my education and training rapidly to prepare myself to be of service to my community, state, and nation. The cadet oath in context. I pledge that I will serve faithfully in the Civil Air Patrol Cadet Program. Being faithful means being true and doing what you say you will do. In this first line of the oath, you are saying that you understand that you are getting yourself into by joining CAP, and that you freely choosing to become a cadet, and that I will attend meetings regularly. While you may need to miss a few meetings once in a while due to other commitments, you pledge to attend squadron meetings on a regular basis. Participate actively in unit activities. You promise to be enthusiastic about what cadets do. You're joining CAP because you are looking forward to great activities and naturally you intend to take part in them. Obey my officers. Here you acknowledge you don't have all the answers. You realize there are people who have more experience than you and you'll follow their guidance. You promise to listen to your leaders. But if an officer were to tell you to do something morally wrong, you would not have to obey them. Wear my uniform properly. There is a right way and a wrong way to wear the uniform. Recognizing this, you promise to represent CAP and the U.S. Air Force well by looking sharp in uniform. Because the cadet uniform is similar to the Air Force uniform, you know you have a special obligation to live up to the ideals it represents. And advance my education and training rapidly. The word cadet can be defined as a young person who is training to become a leader. Therefore, a cadet's primary job is to learn how to lead. In the cadet oath, you promise to take that duty seriously. To prepare myself to be of service to my community, state, and nation. CAP is a volunteer organization whose main purpose is community service. Everything we do is altruistic, meaning that it's for the benefit of others, not ourselves personally. By participating in cadet activities, you gain from those experiences, but the overall goal is to build yourself into a responsible citizen, so America benefits too. America needs leaders who look out for the needs of the community, not their own selfish desires. In the Middle Ages, soldiers pledged allegiance to their duke, not to their country. In America, our oaths are made into support of the noble principles and democratic ideals. For example, military officers pledge to defend the Constitution. They do not swear allegiance to the personal goals of Abraham Lincoln or George Bush. Cadets follow Air Force traditions as part of their leadership training. This includes rendering military customs and courtesies, wearing the uniform, and participating in drill and ceremonies. Air Force traditions inspire cadets to take their leadership training seriously. The salute. Addressing adults as Mr. or Mrs., coming to attention when an officer enters the room, shaking hands when meeting someone. These are all examples of customs and courtesies. They are small, but important expressions of politeness and mutual respect. Customs and courtesies are found in society at large, but are especially important to the Air Force and CAP traditions because they reinforce the core values. Rooted in politeness. All military customs and courtesies are rooted in basic politeness and respect. When a cadet salutes an officer, the cadet is showing that they respect the officer's position and authority. Likewise, when an officer returns the salute, they show respect to the cadet as a valuable member of the team. Military customs and courtesies are never a mark of inferiority or civility. They do not say that someone is better than the other. Saluting or coming to attention for an officer is not a form of humiliation, but of pride. Imagine how much kinder American society would be if everyone displayed the sense of respect towards one another that is symbolized by the military salute. In cadet tradition, military customs and courtesies are valued teaching tools. Cadets strengthen their self-discipline and maintain a positive attitude by habitually and cheerfully rendering customs and courtesies. Moreover, they illustrate in a positive way how cadets differ from ordinary youth. Customs and courtesies build team spirit. Military customs and courtesies have developed over centuries. Theirs is a fascinating history. The salute, for example, has its origin in another time, when kings ruled, knights wore armor, and the courtly manners forced. It was the age of chivalry. The etiquette of the day dictated that should two friendly knights meet, each would raise the visor of his helmet, show his face, and pay proper respects to the other. Since both knights were completely clad in steel, they could recognize each other as a friend or foe by the distinctive emblems and devices of the armor, another custom that still lives. Etiquette is also decreed that knights salute with their right hands. The right hand was the sword hand. Raising it was a sign of trust. Even after the modern firearms of made steel and armor a thing of the past, the knightly gesture of raising the right hand continues to be recognized as the proper greeting between soldiers. The salute is the simplest form of the military courtesy. Centuries after its creation, it remains a sign of friendship and mutual respect. Some military traditions are elaborate. The salute remains a powerful symbol because it is a simple yet personal expression of respect. The salute. When in uniform, cadets salute military officers, CAP senior members, and cadet officers higher in rank than themselves. Salutes are normally exchanged only outdoors. Indoors, salute officers only when formally reporting. The junior person initiates the salute from a fair distance from the senior person, so that the senior has time to return the salute. Offer a greeting such as "Good morning, ma'am," or "Good afternoon, sir," when exchanging salutes. When in formation, do not salute. The commander will salute for you. When in doubt, salute. Anyone may render a military salute any time that they believe one is warranted. Coming to attention. It is customary for cadets to come to the position of attention when being addressed by an officer. If an officer who is higher ranking than anyone present enters a room, the first person to notice calls the room to attention. In a classroom or work environment, these customs are usually relaxed. The position of honor. The right is the position of honor. It stems from antiquity when warriors carried swords, usually on the right of their side. When walking with another cadet or an officer, it is customary for the junior person to walk on the left. Manners of address. If you're speaking with a cadet airman, you can address him as Airman Jones or Airman. If you're speaking with a cadet NCO, it's Sergeant Jones or Sergeant. Or a cadet chief, it'd be Chief Jones or Chief. Cadet officer, you can address them by their rank, such as Major Jones, Major, or Sir or Ma'am. For a senior member NCO, you will address them as Sergeant, Senior, or Chief, or just Sir or Ma'am, if they don't have a rank, or you could say their rank, such as Major Jones. Reporting to an officer. When directed to report to an officer indoors, follow these steps. First, check your uniform. Look sharp when reporting. Approach the officer's door, knock twice, and wait for permission to enter. Proceed towards the officer and halt 2 paces from their desk. Salute and say, "Sir, cadet last name," reporting as ordered. Wait for the officer to return your salute. Remain at attention unless instructed otherwise, as you conduct your business with the officer. When the meeting is over, the officer will say, "Dismissed." Come to attention if not already, and take 1 step backward. Salute and wait for the officer to return the salute. Perform an about face and exit the area. To report to an officer outdoors, follow these steps above, except you will normally be wearing your cover or a hat. There will be no door for you to knock on. Simply proceed towards the officer, halt 2 paces in front of them, salute, and report as explained above. Introducing people. It is customary to introduce people when you believe they are meeting each other for the first time. When making an introduction, the junior person is introduced to the senior person. For example, Captain Jones, this is Airman Smith. Airman Smith, meet Captain Jones. The people being introduced to one another might not have military grade. As a general rule of thumb, the younger person is introduced to the older person. For example, Mom, this is my friend Sarah. Sarah, this is my mom, Mrs. Jones. Likewise, people who have lack of formal title or position of responsibility are introduced to those who do not. For example, Mayor Smith might introduce Emily Jones. Emily, meet the mayor. Of course, it is polite to offer a firm handshake when meeting someone's acquaintance. Cadets, police officers, and even McDonald's employees wear uniforms. So do military officers, nurses, and baseball players. Uniforms build team spirit. They are a visual representation of a person's commitment to the team. They remind people of their duty and inspire them to live up to the highest standards of personal conduct. Because uniforms are unique, only Cap Cadets wear the Cap Cadet uniform. They are a source of pride. The uniform is the core values in cloth form. Cadets wear uniforms as part of their leadership training. The uniform is a vehicle for learning self-discipline, personal responsibility, and self-respect. Also, to wear the uniform properly, you must pay attention to detail. Are your chevrons placed correctly? Is your back pocket buttoned? Is your nameplate on straight? Taken individually, these concerns may seem petty and nitpicky, but paying attention to detail, you learn the value of accuracy and precision. Cadets learn more than they may realize by wearing a uniform. How many ways are there to wear a uniform? 1. The right way. Wearing the uniform is a privilege, not a right. Because CAP is the U.S. Air Force Auxiliary and cadets wear an Air Force-style uniform, there is a special obligation to wear it properly and with pride. 10 tips to looking sharp in a uniform. Number 1. Keep track of your insignia. Store it in a special place at home. 2. Prepare your uniform the night before you wear it. 3. Trim loose strings from buttonholes, pockets, and belt loops. 4. Use spray starch when ironing. Check the manufacturer's tag first. 5. Obtain enforcers or place cardboard behind your ribbons. 6. Look at yourself in a full-length mirror to check your appearance. 7. Keep a small handkerchief with you for dusting your shoes and brass. 8. Check your gig line whenever you exit a car or visit the restroom. 9. Avoid leaning against anything while in the uniform. 10. Ask your buddy to tell you if they notice anything incorrect about your uniform. For good or bad, one person's conduct reflects everyone else in the group. Whenever you wear the uniform, you represent not just yourself, but all of CAP and the Air Force. If you look sharp and take pride in your appearance, you will increase a positive impression. People will believe CAP is a quality organization and will regard CAP Cadets as being America's finest youth. Likewise, if you look sloppy or do not put much effort into your appearance, people will believe such carelessness is the norm. They may not even resent you for not living up to the ideals they expect cadets to explain. For detailed guidance on how to wear the uniform properly, see CAP Manual 39-1, the Uniform Manual. Personal appearance is important in civilian life too. When presenting yourself for a job interview, for example, it is important to appear neat, well-groomed, and dressed appropriately. Through drill and ceremonies, cadets develop teamwork. A unit's performance on the drill field is a measure of the cadet's sense of self-discipline. And because drill requires attention to detail, the cadet's commitment to the core value of excellence is also on display. For these reasons, drill and ceremonies have been a part of the cadet and Air Force traditions for generations. You can tell a lot about a cadet's unit's attitude and the state of training simply by watching them drill. What is the best way to learn drill? One step at a time. New cadets begin their training with in-place movements. Mastering the position of attention is an important first step. Gradually, more complicated movements are introduced. Eventually, the cadets learn how to lead a flight in drill and command a squadron formation. Training in color guard procedures and the manual of arms is also available. Eventually, as a cadet officer, you will learn how to command full-scale parades that include elaborate rituals and honors. On the drill field, you are not just an individual, but as part of a unit. Drill teaches cadets the value of teamwork and precision. Ambassadors in Blue, the U.S. Air Force Honor Guard. Watch the Air Force Honor Guard drill team perform and you will be inspired. The drill team uses complex drill routines to showcase their professionalism that all airmen possess. Drill team members personify the core values. A standard 6-person performance features a choreographed sequence of show-stopping weapon maneuvers, precise tosses, complex weapon exchanges, and a walkthrough of gauntlet of spinning weapons. The drill team also executes an incredible 4-person performance centered at a stationary drill commander, flanked by team members who simultaneously hurl their 11-pound weapons over and around their commander, performing a sequence of events unmatched by any other professional military drill team. Drill team members know they represent the entire Air Force, they are the ambassadors in blue, and their standard is perfection. No matter how talented the national commander is, a single individual cannot lead the Silver Air Patrol on their own. CAP is just too big. Assistants in the form of region commanders, wing commanders, and squadron commanders aid the national commander by taking responsibility for their corner of CAP. This system, in which leaders are ranked above one another according to their status, is known as the chain of command. More simply, the chain of command is the order of authority. It links the most junior cadet with every leader in CAP, all the way up to the national commander. While teamwork is important, the chain of command is based on belief that the final responsibility for getting a job done ought to be assigned to a single individual. The opposite of the chain of command is sometimes called leadership by committee. It has a negative connotation. If everyone on the committee is in charge, then no one is in charge. If everyone shares responsibility for a project, no one becomes responsible. The chain of command is useful in many ways. It makes clear who is in charge. New people know they can go to their immediate superior if they have a question or even an idea. Likewise, you can expect directions to come from mainly your immediate supervisor or superior versus several different leaders. The leaders in the chain of command have authority over people in their unit, but with that authority comes responsibility. Therefore, another benefit of having a chain of command is that it reinforces the idea that everyone is accountable for one another. When the chain is functioning properly, authority and responsibility will always be linked. If you get one, you get the other. Although the term chain of command is a military connotation, most organizations use some type of leadership hierarchy. The teachers work for the school principal, who turns works for the school superintendent. A grocery store manager works for a district manager and ultimately for the company president. Businesses, government, schools, clubs, and even families follow some sort of chain of command. The chain functions best when people resolve issues at the lowest possible level. This ensures that local leaders make decisions affecting local issues. It also frees high-level leaders to focus on more important matters. Likewise, jumping the chain is to be avoided. This occurs when an individual takes an issue to a higher-level leader without consulting their immediate superiors. The principle goes both ways. High-level commanders generally do not give directions to low-level cadets. Instead, they pass their instructions down the chain. Think of the chain of command as a ladder. The wise person climbs and descends one step at a time. Each step represents the commander in the chain of command. Sure, in theory, you can skip a step and race up and down the ladder, but you're apt to hurt yourself in the process. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, the chain of command in action. June 6, 1944, D-Day. It was a decisive battle in Europe during World War II. This can be seen in the famous movie Saving Private Ryan. General Eisenhower had spent 3 years planning the invasion. Now his job was to sit and wait. Ike began D-Day with reading. Maybe a book would calm his mind. After breakfast, Ike met with Field Marshal Montgomery. Monty had no news. After all, the fighting was miles away. It was lunchtime when Ike met with the press, but he had little news to share. Ike wanted information about the brave men storming Normandy's beaches as much as the reporters did. Ike spent the afternoon pacing. He was anxious for news to make his way up the chain to him. Eventually, it was dinner time, and shortly after that, bedtime. The Supreme Commander did not issue a single command on D-Day. Senior members in the chain of command. You have the American people. Then you have the CAP Board of Governors, which is created by the U.S. Congress. The BOG is a committee of the Air Force, CAP, and community leaders who oversee and govern CAP. The National Commander. He's the national commander that leads all CAP units. Region Commander. The regional commander leads a handful of wings within a geographic area. Wing Commander. The wing commander leads all the groups and squadrons in the state. Group Commander. Groups are optional units usually found in larger states. The Group Commander leads a handful of squadrons. Squadron Commander. The squadron commanders lead the CAP's hometown organization. Squadrons are regarded as the most important units in CAP. And then we have the cadet structure, which you have the Cadet Commander. They motivate the cadets, supervise the flight commanders, and the first sergeant, and develop their leadership skills. They set long-term goals for the squadron, instruct cadets, and ensure that the unit achieves their goals. Cadet Deputy Commander. Supervise and mentor the flight commanders, assist the commander in leading the squadron, take charge of the squadron in the commander's absence. Cadet Executive Officer. Supervise the cadet support staff, manage the cadet corps and administrative programs. Cadet First Sergeant. Motivates cadets, supervise the flight sergeants and all junior cadets within the squadron, assist the commander with inspections, lead drill and ceremonies, assist the commander with morale and discipline. Cadet Flight Commanders. Motivates cadets. Supervise the flight sergeant and element leaders in development of their leadership skills, instructs cadets and sets goals to create plans for the flight. Cadet Flight Sergeants. Motivates cadets, leads cadets in drill, instructs cadets in basic subjects, help the flight commander lead the flight. Cadet Element Leaders. Motivate cadets, serve as coach, help cadets prepare for inspection, and help teaches drill. Cadet element members. They follow directions, they display personal leadership. During cadet formations like the one at the U.S. Air Force Academy, leaders pass information up and down the chain of command. Conclusion. Character is a prerequisite for leadership. How can a dishonest person be trusted to lead? Leaders must lead by example. We expect them to live the core values. This requires self-awareness, self-discipline, and a positive attitude. One's character is reflected by their actions. Therefore, CAP leaders must respect Air Force leadership traditions. Put simply, a leader wears the uniform with pride. They follow the chain of command. They are proficient in drill. They, by habit, and cheerfully render military customs and courtesies. Any cadet who works hard to live the core values and respects Air Force traditions has the potential to become a good leader.